Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Dr. Basili, your orthopedics faculty with Marrow. And first, I would like to thank all of you for participating in this live session. And uh, looking at the number of people who are watching this, it gives me immense pleasure to see that all of you are watching this because you want to crack this exam and you want to make sure that you don't make any kind of mistake towards the end of your preparation, which I feel, and sorry, I would just scratch that, which I know everyone feels is the most important part of your journey to crack NEET PG exam. Okay, so I want to keep this session very short in the sense that the things that I will tell you, the strategies and the points that I would like to emphasize on the one-way street of communication, I would like to keep it short. I would directly want to discuss the fundamentals of planning your revision here, and then deep dive in the question and answer session where I want you to ask me the questions so that I can guide you specifically. And hopefully by trying to answer your questions, I will be able to answer questions of many students who are concerned and worried about right now. Before I begin, I would like to tell you that this session was supposed to be conducted by myself and Dr. Rohan, my colleague, who's the general surgery faculty in Marrow. But unfortunately, because of his family emergency, his grandfather who had passed away last week, he had to attend a few ceremonies. And we are hoping that he can be a part of this session, at least by the end of it, to answer your questions. Although I would like to tell him that, sir, please drive safe. There is no rush. We will manage. If you reach here on time, we'll be just lucky to have you. So starting with, uh, I would just like to tell you that who is this session for, and this is something that I would always want to tell before I begin a session, because whenever we conduct a session or talk about the strategies or study strategies, every student would want to listen to the teachers, would want to understand what they're trying to tell you. But then there is it's a double-edged sword. I would like to tell you that this session is not for everybody. This session is for people who are planning their revisions right now, who are just about to finish, or who have already finished. This session is for them. This session is not for everyone else. This session is not going to give you sudden secret strategies or hidden fundas or mantras that will help you conquer the exam overnight. वो नहीं होने वाला है. This is a very practical and fundamental session where I'm going to tell you what you can avoid doing and what you should do if you want to crack this exam with less pain, right? So we are going to talk about the strategies for revision. And in the comment section, I don't want you to fire up a lot of questions here, because I will not be able to read them right now. Because I am going to tell you a few things here first. So if you have a question, I encourage you to write down the question, copy it and keep it ready and paste it when I ask you to do it. And make the question, little bit clear. Just don't give one line questions like how to study now. I cannot answer that kind of a question, right? So if you have a specific concern, ki sir, I have finished this many subjects. These are my pendencies. What do you think I should do? Those kind of questions where you want affirmation from faculty that your preparation is fine. So you can ask those kind of questions. Keep it a little bit explained, copy it, keep it ready. Don't paste it in the chat session right now. Just answer the questions that I'm asking you in the chat session. That is there. And if you're watching this after the live is over, make sure you watch it on 1.5x at least, so that you don't end up wasting your time. This is live, so this is going to be a little slow. But once you come back and watch this later, try to watch it on a faster speed. Okay, so let's try to wrap this up quickly without wasting a lot of time. So who is this session for? This session is for people who have just started their revisions and who have finished their first reading and now are planning to start their revision. And also for people who are almost at the end. Now, this is a tricky part, because almost at the end means there are people who will have 1 or 2 subjects left. There are people who will have 5 or 6 subjects left. I feel if you even have 5 or 6 subjects left also, I would say that you're almost at the end. Don't worry about it. This session is for you also. I will tell you how to finish those subjects fast and move on to the phase of revision. Okay? If you're none of these, or if you're somebody who was just starting now, yeah, sir, I'm starting today, in 60 days mein kuch karke mujhe de do. I mean, this session is not for you. I have made a video for people who want to start now. You can go and watch that. Or if you are somebody who's like, sir, I don't want a great rank, I just want to qualify because papa ne has decided to buy me a seat. Again, this session is not for you. This session is really for people who are working hard and want to crack this exam, to genuinely crack this exam. Okay, so I don't want to kind of give you false hope about this session. So that is the disclaimer in the beginning. Now I want to ask you this question: why do many people, or almost, see, then when lakhs of students write this exam, do all of them get the seat that they want? No, no, it doesn't happen. So why do many people fail? And what is the reason? What is a typical story of a person who worked hard, who studied well, and then could not crack the exam or couldn't do well on the exam? You must have heard this story from your seniors, from your peers, or it must have been your story as well, right? So you must have worked very hard last year, but couldn't have cracked the exam. What is the common theme here? The common theme is, sir, I worked very hard. I read everything. I made wonderful, beautiful, amazing notes. I did all the questions in the question bank. I gave the grant tests also. Sir, I reviewed them also, but I couldn't get, go through the anxiety, the fear, the pressure of the last few weeks or the months of the exam. And then I couldn't revise. And that is the reason I couldn't crack the exam. And this story is so familiar. I've been hearing this story since the time I was preparing. So this is a very common story. And it breaks my heart because this journey and this preparation that we go for, right, it's not a small journey. It's not like you study for a few weeks and crack the exam. It's not for even months. Students are preparing for this since many years. Some people have started in third year, some people have started in fourth year, final year internship. So it takes years to get where you are today, and they break in the end, and then they can't crack the exam. So what I want to tell you is that the reason they don't do well on the exam, it's not because they did not study well. It's not because that source was, flawed, or the teachers were wrong, or their preparation was not good. It's just that they broke at the end because they did not have a sound or a robust, solid plan to consolidate everything that they have been working hard towards. That is the major reason they crack or crumble because of the pressure of the exam. So we will try to avoid that. So the purpose of this session is to help you avoid that. So let me tell you one broad statement here before we proceed further. Now, I am sure all of you watching this right now must be doubting yourself. There is no doubt about it. All of you will be doubting yourself. If you're not doubting yourself right now, you are one of two candidates. Either you are the future topper, जिसमें आपका फर्स्ट रैंक है, or you're not even willing to participate in the competition. Okay, you're out of the race. So only these two kind of people will not have any kind of pressure or anxiety. You will be in pressure, you will be doubting yourself. But let me tell you, if you're sitting here, if you have been preparing, and if you're watching this session to improve yourself, you're already better than you think you are. See, you are already better than you think you are. We think that we are, not so smart. We think we are not capable of greatness. We think that we cannot crack the exam. But let me tell you, you're here. It means you're already better than you think. You don't know it yet. ये तुमको भी पता नहीं, but you are awesome. Please understand that. See, you have done it. You're almost there. My job here is to consolidate it and make it easy for you. Now, coming back to the original question, why do a lot of people fail towards the end? Right? It's because of anxiety, right? Anxiety and stress. They're so anxious of the exam. Why do you think they are anxious, and anxiety hits them so hard just before the exam? Why do you think that happens? Any answers? In the comments, I want to know what you think. Why a lot of people, fail just before the exam? Anxiety, yes. Why anxiety? Anxiety because of uncertainty, because they don't know what they are doing is right or not. उनको पता नहीं है कि whatever they are putting in effort right now will actually make an impact or have a positive effect on their preparation. In the last few weeks, they are just chaotic. They don't know क्या करना है. And that is the biggest reason why they are so anxious, because anxiety comes from uncertainty. If you know something for sure, why will you be anxious? है ना? If there is no confusion, there is no anxiety. The more anxious you are, the more wrong decisions you start to make. And you know that graph, right? The more the anxiety, the rationality goes down. You will not be able to think straight, and you will start making mistakes. So the whole purpose of this session is to give you a clarity of what you should do towards the end, so that there is no anxiety or uncertainty in your preparation, right? So we should be ready, and we should know what we are preparing for. So let me start with the most difficult day of your preparation. What is the most difficult day of your preparation? Tell me. What do you think is the most difficult day of your preparation? Batao, let me see in the comments. Let's see if you're smart enough to understand what is the most difficult day of your preparation. The most difficult day of your preparation, my dear friends, is the last day before your exam. It's the last day before your exam. Your exam is on 3rd March. So the most difficult day of your preparation is 2nd March. You will be clueless what to do that day. You'll either not do anything, or you'll start to do everything that day only, because tabhi jaagte hain. So my job here is to tell you, if we try to control that day itself, we'll start, making progress towards our success. So How many hours do you think you'll be able to study on 2nd March, the last day? How many hours do you think you'll be able to study? Day has a 24 hours now, but you'll have to sleep also. So let's assume if you sleep also and eat also, take care of yourself also before go for the exam, you will not be able to study for more than 12 to 13 hours. That's it. On the last day before the exam, you will not be able to study more than 12. 12 hours is an overestimation. 8 to 12 hours, that's the duration you'll be able to study. So what will you study on that day? Tell me, or take a piece of paper and write down what will you study on the last day before the exam on 2nd March. What will you study? We are planning a revision. Na? So I want you to tell me, what do you think you will study on that day? You cannot study much. You cannot study much. So what you need to study on and focus on that day is something that we have to start building now. That is what I want to tell you. Start preparing for that last day. So that last day becomes easy for you. Start for it today. And I'll tell you what you can do. I'll tell you what you can do to make that last day easy. What you can do is, you have to be ready with a few things for that last day. In those 12 hours, in 8 to 12 hours, you have to be ready with a few things that you will read so that you can go to the exam with utmost confidence. What are those things? You need your 20th book. You need your 20th book. Let me just grab my pen here. Right. You need your 20th book. You need your 20th book. Okay. So 20th book is the book that we have all encouraged you to start writing with the information that you will forget. Okay. That is the book there. Some facts from the grant tests that you will forget. That is something you'll keep there. Some classifications or certain drugs that keep coming on the exam and you can't remember those fundas, you keep it there. So that is the 20th book. You need that. All the bookmarked questions of the question bank that you have been reading and the pearls that you have been reading, only the bookmarked ones. And this bookmark also, I've told you, you should be funneling these bookmarks. You cannot have 10,000 bookmarks just before the exam. You'll be funneling them and you will be removing the bookmarks of things that you already know that you will be doing it. I'll tell you how you do it. You will do that. So you will have 20th book, you will have the bookmark question bank questions and the bookmarked pearls. What else? The previous year questions and topics of the previous INI set and the NEET PG exam, and if possible, FMG exam also. These are the things. That's it. These are the things you will be doing on the last day before the exam. Take a screenshot. Take a screenshot of this page. This is what you will be doing. Okay, now relax. Okay, relax now. You know now. You know exactly what you are going to read on the last day before the exam. These are the things you will. Nothing more, nothing less. Less होगा तो कोई बात नहीं, but more की जरूरत नहीं. You don't need to read anything more. This is all you have to read. Your 20th book with all the fundas and fundamentals that you're forgetting again and again, facts, collection of your bookmark questions from the question bank, a grand test or pearls, whatever, wherever you have bookmarked, only the ones that you have, you know you will forget and you have not removed it. Previous year questions and topics, notes में से, from the last 3 years of NEET PG and INI set. If you have done more, 5 years also, great. But at least minimum 3 years. This is what you have to do. And if you are done with this information, if you have this information ready for the last day before the exam, you are sorted. Now, how do you feel? How do you feel now? You know what you're going to do on 2nd March. Thoda relaxation aaya na? You must have felt a little better. You know now what you will do on the last day before the exam. This is clarity. The more clarity you have about your preparation, the less anxious you will be, because there is no uncertainty now. You know this is what you have to do and this is what you're going to do, and nothing more and nothing less. And why do you think this is enough? Because this is what the toppers have told. This is what the people who have gotten great ranks and good ranks have done. They have done many more things, but this is what they have done on the last day before the exam. So we are trying to replicate what toppers have done, because that will work for us, because it has worked for them. It has worked for a lot of people, so it will work for you. So this is coming from a lot of people saying the same thing. This is what you're going to do. Okay? So this is what you're going to do on the last day before the exam. Now, what about the week before that? What about that week before that? Because that is also a scary time. Na? 1 week before the exam. Usme hum kya karenge? What will we do on the week before the exam? So this is what we are going to do. Please understand that 1 day before the exam, you have things sorted now. But the week before the exam, because it's a larger day, larger gap, 7 days, your mind will be a mental circus. You will be all over the place. There will be a few hours you'll be very happy and ecstatic and excited that you'll crack the exam. Then there will be a few moments where you just want to close the room and start crying. And trust me, it will happen to every one of us. This is absolutely normal. Even the topper would have cried. Okay, nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Even the topper would have cried. This is absolutely normal. Getting scared, feeling overwhelmed, feeling that there is so much pressure and so much responsibility on your head to crack this exam. Your life decisions are pending and waiting for you to crack this exam. All of that is absolutely going to be there. It's just that how you overcome that. And the best way to overcome all of these thoughts is to keep yourself busy. Keep yourself busy with the plan, an agenda. Keep yourself engaged in a job at hand. If you're so busy doing something and you're so focused trying to finish something, these kind of thoughts and distractions will have no space to get into your mind. So what are you going to occupy yourself with? Let me just tell you, what are you going to occupy yourself with? You're going to occupy yourself with short subjects. Very, very important. Short subjects: sarpo, skin, anesthesia, radiology, psychiatry, ophthalmology, orthopedics, sorry. Skin, anesthesia, radio, psychiatry, ortho, and FMT, forensic medicine. My God, this is a golden subject. It's a golden subject. Easy 6, 7, 8 marks. Just put in the effort. Just put in the effort. These are the SARPO subjects or short subjects you will be doing in the last 1 week before the exam, and also non-short but volatile subjects like SPM, pharmacology, and microbiology. These are facts, these are numbers, these are things you have to mug up and memorize. So put it in your brain, regurgitate on the exam if they've asked. That's it. Finish it. And if you are habituated or used to giving grand test, you can give a grand test. If not, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. ठीक है? इतना कर सकते हो? Can you do this 1 week before the exam? Now you have 1 week plan sorted out. Now you know that you have to do skin, anesthesia, radio, psychiatry, ortho, forensic, community medicine, pharma, micro. You have to do so many 9 subjects you have to do. You will have absolutely no time to think about exam में क्या होगा, मेरी शादी होगी कि नहीं होगी. You have no time to think about all of that. You will be busy finishing what I have told you to finish. So that is a beautiful strategy to keep yourself away from anxiety, fear, because you can worry about everything after the exam. Na? After the exam, you will feel jobless. Full time milega. Go out in the sun, lie down under the sun on grass and start thinking about all the worst things that can happen to you. Do it after the exam, not before the exam. That was sarcasm. Okay? Don't really do that. Okay. समझ आ गया? So that is the 1 week before the exam. Now, what about before that? What about before that? Now, this is the critical phase. This is the critical phase. 1 week ho gaya. So last day we have discussed. We have discussed 1 week before the exam. And what about before that? Before that, this is what you will do. From 15th to 24th February. This is 10 days. 15th to 24th February, 10 days before that 1 week, you have to do high-yielding subjects. High-yielding subjects like obs and gynecology, surgery, pathology, ENT, ophthalmology, pediatrics, and if you want to medicine. I'm not too keen on medicine, but at least try to do these other subjects. This is what you're going to do between 15th to 24th February. How you will do it, what you will do, I'll tell you later. I'm just giving a structure here. And again, this is not hard and fast for everybody. If you're very good in obs and gynae surgery, you don't have to. You don't have to. Just understand ki I'm just giving you a broad idea of what you should be focusing on, because this is what the toppers have been telling and toppers have been doing. So this might work for you also. Okay? This is just based on what people have done. समझने आ गया? So last 1 day sorted, last 1 week sorted, and 10 days before that is sorted. So essentially last 10 plus 7 plus 1, 18 days we have sorted. The most crucial phase of the preparation we have sorted. We have an exact strategy of what we are going to do. Whatever you knew, whatever you did not know, sab chhod do. This is what you at least have to do. So if you're somebody who was ambiguous, uncertain, confused, and this was giving you anxiety and you were confused what to do, what is the best thing to do in the last few days, this is what you're going to do. If you stick to this, you will be in a much better place than doing something on your own without a plan or agenda. Okay? Doing something with a plan is much more powerful than doing things randomly. It will give you more scare. It will give you more fear and it will make you more anxious. Now you have last 18 days sorted. What to do now? You have last 18 days. And before that, you have to finish all the revision. So last 18 days is the critical revision. It can be your second revision. It can be your third revision. It can be your fourth revision, whoever you are, it doesn't matter. But your last 18 days means the common thing for all of you. For people who are doing the first revision, this should be done in the last 18 days. For people who are doing the second revision, this should be done in the last 18 days. For people who are doing the third, fourth, fifth revision, this should be done in the last 18 days. Okay. Now, moving on to the grand test and mock exams. Grand test and mock exam. I have seen so many people who have been preparing very hard, but have not appeared for a single grand test or a mock exam. Why? Their answer is, sir, if I see the score, I will get disheartened and I will lose confidence and I will not prepare well. Okay. But then if you see a bad score on the actual exam, will that make you feel comfortable? No, no. Isn't it smart to kind of understand where you are weak to improve those areas and then go for the actual exam rather than discovering your weaknesses in the actual exam? So even if you don't submit the grand test score out of fear of shame of what your friends or colleagues or peers would think, just give it so that you can understand where you are and so that you can identify your weak areas and improve on them. Yeah. So grand test is a tool that will tell you ki bhaiya, focus on this subject, this is your weak area, try to improve here. Grand test is not your enemy. Grand test is your friend telling you, putting a hand on your back and say, bhaiya, please improve this. You're weak in ENT. ENT is important. Improve this right now. So grand test is your friend. You have to give grand test. Kuch bhi karke, you have to. How to review it, what to review it. There are many, many strategies of doing it. We've talked about it before. But a quick way of telling you this is, first, do the wrong answers. Why you got them wrong? Quickly read them. Okay. Then if you have time, you can read the ones that you have gotten correct out of guess and the ones you have gotten right out of your knowledge. That is the hierarchy. First, what you have gone wrong and why you have gotten wrong. Second, the ones you have gotten right, but out of luck, tukka, not out of confidence, not out of knowledge. And then if you have time, also review the questions that you have gotten right. Aise karke you can do it. You can do it in one day, or you can split it in 2 to 3 days and do it. Whatever works for you, but karna hai. Karna hai. Another important thing I want to talk about is the Marrow mock exam. This Marrow mock exam that is going to go live on 31st Jan and is going to close on 5th of 7th of February. So this is going to be live for 1 week. And this is a very, very important exam because almost 1 lakh students participate in this exam every year. So this is a true, not a true representation of where you stand in the competition. It gives you an idea. So if you have been doubting yourself and were confused whether the things that you're doing are right, whether you will crack the exam or not, doing this exam and getting a good score and a good rank will give you so much boost in your morale and confidence that you will be shocked and surprised. So this is something that I want you to definitely give, and this is open for everybody. Non-Marrow students can also participate on this exam. It's a wonderful representation of the actual exam because all the toppers that we have spoken to have said that their actual final score was almost in a deviation of 10% of the mock exam result. So whatever you do on the mock exam, you're around 10% of that on the final exam. Now, this is for people who have already finished. If you have not finished everything, there are pendencies and you have to cover them up. Obviously, your score will be less on the mock, but your score will improve on the final exam. Keep that in mind. Okay? So the reason you're not getting good score on the grand test or mock exam is because you have pendencies. You have subjects that you have not covered. You will obviously cover them now. You have so much time. You will have full of February to cover it and you will do it. And then obviously your score will improve on the actual exam. But the reason you'll have to give this mock is to understand the design of the exam, the pattern of the exam, and to get the feel and the vibe of the exam. Because if you go to an exam without any kind of understanding of how the exam is conducted, the vibe, the feel, the pressure, the anxiety that you get, you will get all of those in the actual exam, which will be very, very difficult for you to overcome. So practice these exams, right? Few days before the exam, Karlo, this is a good enough time, far away from the actual exam. No? 1 month in advance kar rahe hain. So you are losing nothing. Instead, you are getting that exam feel 1 month in advance. So I encourage you to do that, definitely. Okay? Now, the next thing I want to talk about is specific strategies for the 3 sets of people I wanted to address. Now, okay, we'll come back to questions. We'll come to the questions. I'm wrapping this up. It's okay. I'm going fast as much as can. So for people who have already started the revision, what should you do now? You can actually turn this video off and go and do your thing, man. You're awesome. You're already ahead of most people. You have already started revision. Good luck. You're going to do well. It's just that you have to maintain focus on the last 18 days like I've discussed. If you don't do those last 18 days well, you will not be very happy. I'm telling you, those are make or break period. 18 days is the make and break period of your exam. Kitna bhi, whatever you have read all these months and years, if you don't do those 18 days well, you will struggle on the exam. So be very smart. Fix those 18 days, and we have discussed how to fix that. So congratulations, aapki baat nahi kar rahe, you're here. For people who have just finished, people who have finished on the new year and said, yeah, I'll start my revision from the 1st of January. Plan your revisions very smartly, right? Very smartly in the sense, what is a smart revision? I'll tell you. Smart revision is doing at least 2 or 3 revisions before the exam. 2 or 3 revisions. See, the last revision we have already talked about in 18 days. The last revision of all the 19 subjects we'll do in those 18 days. We've talked about that. What I'm talking about is getting at least 2 or 1 revision minimum before those 18 days. How you have to do? You have to smartly focus on these 60 days. So last 18 days to rakh diya, 20 days rakh diya. Now you have 40 days. In 40 days, you need to finish as much as possible. From how, from where, from what we'll discuss. We'll discuss the advantages and disadvantages of all of that. But you have to be cognizant that you have to finish all the 19 subjects in 40 days time, because you have finished the first reading, you have no pendencies left, you're good. You're good. Okay? If you're here also, you're doing very, very well. Nothing to worry about. Now, most of the people are here, almost finished. Looking in the comment section, it looks like most of you are here. Is that I have some subjects left. 3, 4, 5, 6 subjects left. So tell me in the comments, how many subjects do you think you have left? Okay, subjects that you have not even touched. Not even touched, matlab you have not even attended any class, you have not watched videos, you have not solved question bank, you have absolutely no clue ki subject ke andar hai kya, which I doubt is a reality. But still, for the sake of our conversation, tell me what those subjects are. Because some of us feel ki this is one subject that I have not read, I have never touched. But how did you pass your professional exam if you have not read that subject? It bothers me, because you must have read it somewhere, sometime in your life. You are at least familiar, right? That is what I'm asking. Are you familiar with those subjects or not? Okay, I understand you need to prepare for it specifically for the sake of the exam, but are you familiar or not? That is the question. If you're familiar, good. ऐसे तो नहीं होता ना कि you're not familiar with any subject. हाँ, ठीक है. So what are the how many subjects are left for you to prepare for the exam? 4 or 5? Looks like most of you are saying 4, 4, 5. Awesome. Which is an ideal number, which is a perfect number for most of the students who are at this phase of their preparation. So nothing to worry about. You're still in the competition. So first of all, I want to tell you, the reason your subjects are left over is because you are trying to give more time to the previous subjects. You tried to give more time to the previous subjects. That's why these subjects are still pending. If you would have been very strict with yourself, disciplined with time, you would have finished almost everything by now. But it's okay. It's okay. You might have started late. It's okay. You get out of that greed to read. That's what I tell you. I want to tell you, get out of that greed to read. Don't worry about leaving out things. And I will tell you how smartly you can finish those subjects. I'll just tell you in a bit. First of all, you have to get out of that greed to read. And second of all, whatever pendencies you have, sir, just give me 1 more day, 2 more day for one subject. I'll finish it. Okay, I'll give you. By 10th to 15th January, try to finish anything that you have left as a first reading wala subject. Try to wrap it up. Try to close it. That is a hard stop, hard close. No, you do not have time after that, because after that, if you are going to do first reading subjects, then you are going to miss out on the most valuable thing of preparation, that is revision. You cannot do that. If you are doing that, you are getting ready to fail, which I do not want. I told you in the beginning, I want to prevent failure at the end. So stop by 15th January. So if you have pendencies, how do you finish that, sir? How will I finish that? So there are 2 ways of doing it. And where do you do it from? How do you finish it and where do you do it from? So the way you can do it is, you can divide 1 day of your preparation as into early morning. You can be reading the first reading of the subject that is pending, and by afternoon or evening, you can start the revision. So in 1 day, you're doing the first reading of the pending subjects as well as starting the revision for the final exam. That you have to do, because if you do not start revision now, you will not have time to finish your revisions before the exam. And revision is very important. So first reading you can do in the morning till afternoon or late evening, and then you start your revision till night. You can do mix and match. For example, if suppose your microbiology is pending, you have to do microbiology for the first time, right? So do microbiology in the morning till afternoon, and then you start your revision of any other subject simultaneously. Say suppose you want to revise pediatrics, start revision pediatrics in the evening. So you're doing the first reading of one subject in the morning and started the revision of the second subject in the evening. That gives you the sense of completeness. Ki yaar, ye bhi ho raha hai aur ye bhi ho raha hai, and you will start feeling better. Otherwise, like I said, your revision will not be over. Now the question is, sir, you've told us to do the first reading of those pending subjects in the morning, and revision in the night, perfect. But what to do? Because the subject is this much. There is so much to read. What to read? Where to read from? This is important. What to read and where to read from. Where to read from, you have your source, whatever source you have. You're a Marrow student, you have Marrow, great. You have videos, you have question bank, you have notes, whatever. But what to read is important. What to read basically comes from the area of your previous year questions and topics, right? So your preparation, your preparation of the pending subjects, the first reading wala subjects should be previous year topic and question driven. You're going to focus on areas that are going to be tested on the exam rather than reading everything about microbiology. Okay, for example, if orthopedics is pending for you, this is a subject that you have not read. Is it smart to read whole of orthopedics? Or is it smart to first read the key areas that they are going to ask you on the exam? And once you have covered them and you still have time, then you can fill in the gaps. Right? Samajh rahe ho? Why am I telling you this? Because in case the time is up for that subject, you at least have mastered the core competency areas, the core areas of that subject. That is what I'm telling you. So how will you know what those core areas are? Those high yield core areas are the areas that have been asked previous exams. So go ahead. Before starting the first reading of the pending subject, quickly go through the previous year questions. Start with 3 years question first. So ortho le liya. Last 3 year previous year questions of orthopedics. Say one question is from compartment syndrome in supracondylar humerus fracture. Open it, read the question, read the explanation. Question is not over. Go to the notes where they are talking about supracondylar humerus fracture and compartment syndrome. Read everything around that notes. So you have read the question, you have read the topic. That area is covered. Next question. Next question is posterior dislocation of hip. Read the question, read the answer. Go to the notes, posterior dislocation of hip, hip dislocation, you have read. Third question, fat embolism syndrome. Read the question, read the explanation, go to shaft femur fractures, read fat embolism syndrome and shaft femur fracture. This way, you have touched on 1, 2, 3 areas of orthopedics that are high yield without reading who's the father of orthopedics, who's the mother of orthopedics. Are you following me? You have touched on the high yield areas of orthopedics without wasting your time touching areas that may not be tested on your exam. Now, by doing this, by finishing all the 3 years of previously asked questions and topics, you would have covered a good 60% of important chunk of the subject. Now, if you have time more for the pending subject, go ahead and quickly finish the remaining part of the notes. But if you have no time, move on to the next subject. Now, in the next subject, also do the same thing. Do the same thing. So, for example, if there are 4 subjects that are pending for you, and if you touch on the previous year core topics, previous year based core topics and cover each subject. So of the 4 subjects, you have covered the very, very high yield areas first. Now, if you have time, baki karna hai. Nahi hai, to chhod dena. That is what I want to tell you. I want you to have a very question centric approach, right? Your approach has to be question centric for the pending subjects. Otherwise, the subject will not be finished. The subject will not be finished. Okay? समझ में आ गया? So make it a more previous year question topic based approach or centric approach. Solve the previous year question, then read the explanation and then read from the notes. That's it. You have first done the most important area of the subject. Then move on to the next subject. By doing this, for 4 subjects, you have mastered the last 3 years of topics, which puts you in an upper echelon of preparation. If you have more time, go to the last 5 years. Puts you even more. If you have more time, then finish everything else. But if you do not have time, at least ye 4 ke to high yield to touch ho gaya na. That is what I wanted to tell you. Okay, this is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is delta videos. Delta videos. Marrow 6.5 has delta videos. So delta videos mein na, there are 3 important things. One is MCQ discussion videos, which is roughly around 90 hours. Delta recent updates, which is roughly around 10 hours. And revision videos around 180 hours. Now, Delta recent updates, the 10 hours video is something each and every one of you should watch because it has all the recent updates and those questions that are possibly going to be asked on the exam. So it's just 10 hours. You can do it whenever you are, wherever you are. If you're just tired or just lying on the bed or instead of scrolling the Instagram, you can watch those videos. Very, very important. right? Teachers have put in a lot of effort to make those videos for you. You do that. If you want, if you want to learn high yield areas of a subject without doing the whole previous year topic research that I just told you, now another way of doing it is Delta MCQ discussion videos. These Delta MCQ discussion videos, each teacher in their subject have included all the previously asked questions and topics and have taught you how the examiner thinks so that you can be prepared for a permutation and combination or a variation of that question. Okay, they have prepared you for the actual exam. So if you don't want to do those previous year topics and questions and read from your notes and question bank, you can do it from the Delta videos also. Okay, so Delta recent updates, the 10 hours, every one of you should do. And for people who are, not able to finish the subjects and pendencies, Delta MCQ discussions is very, very important and a valuable asset that can help you if you're struggling to finish your, first read of important content. Okay, so this is from my side. The information that I've given you is from my side, what I feel you should know as a student, because I also myself have been a student in your place, and these are the days I would have struggled and talked to so many students, and I feel that all of you have the same problems. So I address these common problems. Now I want you to type in your question so that I can read it over here now and try to guide you specifically, and hopefully by answering one of your questions I'm able to answer those same questions for multiple students. So shoot. Sir, my PSM is pending. I don't know how to do it. There's more than 100 videos. Samreen Sheikh. So Samreen Sheikh, I just told you how to do your PCM. PSM is pending now. PSM is pending. I don't know how to do it. So PSM is pending means you have never read before. Na? If you have never read it before, you will read it now. And I've told you how to do it. Divide your day into 2 days. Morning, you can do the PSM reading. Evening, you can do revision of any other subject. Okay. You can start with either the Delta MCQ discussion videos or revision videos, and then you can do the questions of the previous year topics, and then you would be done with it. You don't have time to watch the regular videos completely now. Absolutely no, don't do that. And you don't have time to finish the whole question bank also. Absolutely no, you can't do that. Just do the Delta MCQ discussion and revision videos in the morning and revise the other subject in the evening, and you're done. You're done. Doctor is asking, sir, are FMG previous year questions important for NEET? देखो यार, the board that is making these questions are similar boards. So the kind of questions they will be framing, the kind of understanding they would be expecting of you is similar. So it is not harmful to do these questions. In fact, so I would encourage you to do it, but not at the cost of missing out on the NEET PG questions. So first do the NEET PG topics, right? Not questions, topics, and also the INI set topics, and then you can also do the FMG questions and topics. Osho awareness is saying, want to solve all question modules, 9 subjects left, what to do? Solve previous year. See, all question modules. See, you don't try to finish everything right now. Don't try to do that. Be very smart with your time. Time is the most valuable asset that you have, and you have to focus on how to spend that time. Otherwise, you will finish one subject and you will be awesome at that. But unfortunately, exam to marega nahi na, because sare questions will not come from that one subject. You have to touch the key areas of all the subjects in order to crack this exam. So be very smart. Just touch the key areas first. Then if you have time, you do the other areas. Okay. So don't worry about finishing everything. Mansi Sharma is saying, sir, I have done 5 to 6 revisions of some subjects, 2 to 3 revisions of some, and not done medicine even once. What to do? Mansi Sharma, it's okay. You're in a very, very good position. If you have not done medicine also, it's not a big problem, because as it is a little difficult subject. Complicated questions come from that. And if you want to get full marks in medicine, you will have to put a lot of energy to understand it. So the smart way of approaching medicine is taking the previous year questions, doing their topics thoroughly. First do the last 3 years and then do the last 5 years. That way your medicine will also be sorted. Worry not. Okay, you are in a very, very good place. Ankita is asking, sir, what should be the GT frequency? See, GT frequency depends on where you are starting. If you have been somebody who has been giving GTs every 2 weeks, keep on doing it every 2 weeks. If you have somebody who has never given a GT before, it is time that you start practicing. For someone like you, then you should start giving every once a week. Okay, if you have somebody who has not given any GT, you have to give now every once a week, because there are hardly just 2 months left. So you are only going to get it for 6 to 7 times. Kaise bhi karke dena. But if you have good practice and you have been giving every 2 weeks, continue doing every 2 weeks. But the point is, after GT, you have to review the wrong answers, and you have to review the tukka wala guest answers also. Right answers, okay, but guest answers also. And like I said, you can review all of them either in one day, but personally I wouldn't do it because it's very exhausting. I would divide it into 2 to 3 days. Better yet, have a friend or a partner who's participating in the same grand test, so that both of you can teach each other if you're in confusion. Dr. MS saying, sir, yaad nahi rehta, kya kare? Yaar, everybody has the same problem. Yaad kisi ko nahi rehta hai. That is why we are planning your revisions, telling you to beta revise karo, revise karo. Revision is more important than reading anything new, because when you read something new, the moment you read it, you feel it's good, you understood it, but you will forget it. Forgetting is constant. Forgetting is constant. Sir, Sapna Shah is saying, sir, what should be the GT score target? GT score target, right? That's what you're asking, na, Sapna Sharma? There should not be any target. If I tell you your target should be 100%. But is that a real target? Is that a practical target? Nahi hoga na? So wherever you are, your target should be to improve that. Wherever you are, your target should be improve that. But please also understand that GT scores matter less. What matters is the actual final exam score, because there are many people I personally know who have not done very well on the GTs but have done very well on the actual exam. And there are people I know whose GT scores were very good, but unfortunately they couldn't do well on the exam. So don't worry too much about the GT scores, but make sure that you are improving on them, one. And number two, learning from GT scores by looking at your weak areas, identifying your weak areas. That is what the purpose of GT is. Rahima Nazir is asking, sir, how to revise medicine? Rahima, I just told you na, how to revise. You can either revise the notes that you have read completely, fast, or you can revise the bookmark questions and bookmark pearls. But towards the end, for a massive subject like medicine, I want you to be very smart. I want you to have a previous year topic or previous year question based approach for revision. Like I said, first do the last 3 year previous year topics areas in the notes, and then the last 5 years previous year topics ke areas in your notes. By doing that, you will cover the important high yield area of your medicine notes, and then if you have time, you read and revise the other things. Otherwise, you do not have time, chhod do. At least you would have covered the last 3 to 5 years high yield topics from medicine. Osho Awareness is saying thank you. Or Health Gram is saying, sir, I have done only revision videos. Is only revision notes enough for exam? And I have not started question bank or MCQ practice yet. What to do? Arey yaar, revision videos you have done? Very good. Revision notes you have done? Very good. I have not practiced question bank, started question bank. That is very bad. You have to do questions. You have to practice questions, na? Because you are preparing for the question-based exam only, na? Nobody is going to ask you to write down notes on the exam. So you have to prepare for MCQs. Please don't make that mistake. Nobody is going to give you prizes for memorizing the whole notes. You're going to get marks if you get the MCQ correct. So practice questions, my friend. Practice questions. Farhana Yusuf is saying, sir, my first revision will complete on 15th January, but GT correct responses just 85. It is okay, na? It is your first revision. It is your first revision. But now you have to understand what type of revision are you doing. Are you just doing the cursory revision where you just open the book and read the lines and close the book? Or are you doing a previous year question based, question centric revision? Previous year question centric revision should be there, because many students now, you know how they revise? They open the notes. They are comfortable in a particular page, so they spend some time there. Then they turn the page, they come to an area where they are not comfortable. It's a very boring topic. So what do? They quickly read it, turn it around. But they have to focus on that area. The area where you feel uncomfortable, the hard areas of the notes. Easy area to sabhi padhte hain, easy areas to sabko aate hain. So I think your revision is probably not, exam centric or MCQ centric. So you have to change your revision pattern. So please guide about FMG exam. Upcoming FMG exam also the same strategy. That same thing you have to do. Finish everything, start revisions. Whatever is pending, have a very focused approach for previous year topic based revisions. Can we make 20th book from now, because completing it can take much time? So is it worth to invest time in making it from now? Harsh, yes, you can start making now. You don't have to have a perfect 20th book. Whatever you feel is relevant and is bit relevant and is being asked on the exam, and you are unable to revise, put it there in the book. Doesn't matter if you start from today. Every day, if you add 10 points also, by end of 60 days, you will have 600 points in that notebook. समझ रहे हो? Or don't estimate time. 60 days is a lot of time. 60 days is a lot of time. ठीक है? I think we have Dr. Rohan who has joined us now. I think he can also help us with a few of his insights.
Hi, sir.
Can you join in, Dr. Rohan?
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Okay. Yes. Good evening, everyone. Sorry for joining in late. I think so. I heard Dr. Abbas talking about the 20th notebook, and I still feel that it has relevance. And if not the 20th notebook, you can even make a 20th WhatsApp group, which I've discussed. That you can just put the important things which you want to know. You can just click pictures or take screenshots and just put it in a WhatsApp group, which becomes easier for you to revise.
Yeah, essentially anything that can help you quickly remember the things that you're forgetting. Yeah, it can be on a book, it can be on a screenshot, it can be an album in your phone, whatever it is. It's just for quick review and reference, because these are the things that are very volatile. So don't underestimate that. You will find a lot of very volatile things in these 60 days as well. So there is one question from Viresh Biradar. And I think this is very interesting, because they are saying, sir, I'm not able to complete the revision in the allotted time. It's taking longer. What to do? And I think this is a story almost every student faces. They are unable to finish whatever they think they should finish in the desired time. But you have to have a hard stop, friends. You have to stop then and there. If you have given 4 days for Obs and Gynes revision, you have to stop at the end of fourth day, because if you do not stop, you are eating up the time that you are supposed to give for other high yield subjects like, say, general surgery, PSM, pathology. Do you think you want to compromise on the other subjects at the cost of this one subject? Nahi na, you should not do that. And that is why I'm telling you to have a very previous year question topic centric revision approach. That way you will be revising the high yield areas first, and then whatever is left might not be so important, relevant, and then you can move on to the next subject and focus on the high yield areas of that subject. Okay, na? So you have to have a very rigid structure with your time, and you have to let go if you're unable to finish. Move on to the next subject.
Yeah, I would agree. With 60 days left, that needs to be your strategy. Gone are the days when you had a lot of time at your disposal, and even if you were unable to complete a subject, it could spill over to the next day. But with 60 days, you need to have a very rigid time schedule, and you need to follow that so that you can finish your revision. And ideally, those who are aiming for a very good rank need to finish 2 revisions in the 60-day period. So it would be around 40 plus 20, and you do 2 revisions before your final exam. Look
No,
for
I
the
mean,
yeah.
sir.
So for the short subjects, as Dr. Bas was also saying, that if you don't have the time, you should just stick to 2 things, right? Just do the revision videos, just do the MCQ discussion videos, and you solve custom modules of those subjects. That's it. And after watching these two in the custom modules, if you're getting more than 70% correct with a moderate difficulty, I think so that is good enough. You've understood enough for that subject, and that is what you should do for subjects which you haven't completed till now.
Roshan Jha is asking, sir, I have more than 3,000 bookmarked questions. How to manage getting them wrong again and again? So it doesn't matter if it's 3,000, 5,000, 6,000. If you're getting them wrong, you try to get it right. But also try to understand what type of questions are you spending time on. Are these questions relatively moderate in difficulty or easy in difficulty, or they are exceptionally hard? Look at the percentage of people who are getting it right. If 60% or more are getting it right, then you are in a place to know it. If hardly 10 or 15% people are getting it right, then you don't have to worry about it. It simply means it is very hard and beyond your understanding. You can leave it. It's okay. I mean, not at the cost of not finishing other subjects.
So use of look, I know the marrow GTs. This is something which I'm sure Dr. Abbas would have touched upon. The last GT was a bit challenging, and we've taken your feedback regarding that. And I think so. The team is going to work on it. So the subsequent GTs, you should attempt them. Don't be scared of them. And we always feel as a unit that the GT should be a bit tougher than the exam, so that you find the exam easier. Of course, when you come to the mock exam, the NEET mock exam, that you would see would mirror the exam pattern, and you should definitely attempt it.
Sir, is previous year topics enough for the last 18 days? Yes, absolutely. The last 18 days, we have already talked about now what to do. We have talked about what is the last things you need to do on the last day and the things you need to do in the last 2 weeks before that. So if you want to stick to previous year questions and topics around them, I think you are spending your time very wisely rather than reading everything. So nothing wrong in doing that.
So I would just add that previous year questions or topics plus what you've put in your 20th notebook or what you've highlighted. If you've not made a 20th notebook, whatever you've highlighted for that subject, that also you need to revise. So for revision, whatever you are comfortable with, whether they're the main notes or the revision notes, whichever ones you've read till now, focus on them. Don't change your source at the last moment. If you've been doing everything with the main notes, don't move on to the revision notes at the last moment. And like we've said, that those who have seen the main videos properly should just focus on the updates, and the updates have been highlighted as a separate video section, so you can just look at the updates and that would be enough information for you. You don't need to go through the entire revision videos. But for those who've not seen the main videos, then you can rely on the revision videos, and if you're seeing the revision videos, the updates are already incorporated in them. Nandu, there is no fixed number which we can assign regarding how many questions you should be doing every day, but it should cover up the portion which you want to revise in that day. Now, that might be 80 for somebody, 100 for somebody, 120 for somebody. But two things which are very clear: you have to do questions every day, and you need to finish whatever you've decided for that day, because now you don't have excess time available with you at this juncture. Mansi, again, it's your wish whether you want to do a single subject custom module or multi-subject custom module. This is a very individualistic approach. Of course, the exam is going to be a mixed bag. So we would encourage you to practice a multi-subject custom module. But if that is not helping you meet your targets of revision, you can even go with a single subject.
So Isha Arora has asked a very good question about revision. What if my main notes are enormous? I feel scary. They're very bulky to finish, right? So of course they are bulky. Of course there's a lot of information that you have studied in the convenience and comfort of the time that you had in the beginning. But right now you have to be very exam centric. Your whole revision strategy should be very exam centric, and that is what I've been telling you since the beginning. The revision strategy should be your previous year topic and question centric revision. So if there is, like, say 100 pages of a notes, and you take the last 3 years of questions and topics and just try to nail the areas in the notes that have been asked in those questions, you will realize that you would have covered at least 40 to 50% of the content, and this is the most valuable and high yielding area of the content that you have covered. Now if you have time, you can read more, but if you do not have time, at that moment you can move on to the next subject and focus on the high yield areas of that subject. That way you will be covering the high yield areas of the multiple subjects that you are left with, rather than reading everything and wasting your time with one subject and then missing out on the other subject. So please have a very exam centric MCQ topic, previous year topic centric revision plan. If you have time, do everything, but if you do not have time, this is a smart way of focusing on the high yield areas.
So, what custom module hashtags to use? Look, I would segregate into two groups. One are the high achievers, right? Those who are anyways doing well and they will do well, right? They are doing well in the GTs. So for them, they are using the difficulty module as high difficulty and all the tags possible. But for majority of you who are lying within plus minus 2 standard deviations, you should choose a moderate difficulty custom module. It should have previous year questions. It should have images. It should have investigations of choice, because those are the kind of questions which are being asked in exams. Image based questions should be there. So those are the common hashtags which you should be using. Now, once you get more accustomed to that and once you're doing well in these, you can of course upgrade to a higher difficulty level as well. So
Biradar is
GTs,
asking, please go ahead.
GTs, if you're doing that day, that very day, you should finish it. If you're doing a GT, just read the explanations of the topics which you've got wrong, the questions which you've got wrong. Only those explanations need to be read. You should not be reading entire explanations at this stage. And that's the only way how you can finish giving a GT and revising it on the same day. Because if you don't do that, you will miss out on it. You will never do it again. Then you'll never come back to that GT then.
Revising from notes versus revising from revision videos. I personally feel revising from notes is actually a more efficient than just revising from revision videos, because you will read faster, you will think of it faster and turn the pages faster rather than watching the teacher speak. But if you are tired or exhausted and you're not in the mood to actively read yourself and try to recollect the information, you can watch videos also. There is no harm, but I would personally feel reading the notes is much more efficient and a faster way to finish the subjects.
Look, the Delta MCQ discussion videos, firstly, the mindset of all the faculties is to include previous year questions, right? So once you're watching these Delta videos, if you come across a previous year question which you know already, or you've seen it somewhere, the faculty discussing that, you can just skip it forward and move ahead. The new questions you should focus more attention to. But if somebody hasn't seen the previous year discussion videos, then the Delta videos become extremely important, because there's everything assimilated in one area, and if you can watch those videos, they'll be really beneficial for you.
Sir, not doing medicine at all would be fine. Shrishti Jha. Dude, come on. No, it is not fine.
Look,
If you
I
sit
mean,
down
these
and
are
do the test.
weird theories which are propagated somewhere, that medicine is so vast that even if you don't do it, it's okay. But let me tell you that you have to assess what kind of a student you are. If you are in that middle zone, you need to do all the subjects, right? If you are a high achiever, or if you are just starting off, then you can be selective. But for everyone else, you need to revise everything. And I think so Dr. Rakesh has beautifully summarized the subject in his revision videos, and you should give it a try. And we are hearing some great reviews regarding it. So don't just give up on medicine, you should go through it.
Absolutely. And a simple way to start doing it is at least start doing the previous year topics and questions. That way, you'll be hitting the hot areas first. Even if you do not have time, you'll be touching on the hot areas first of the last 3 and 5 years. And you will realize that there is a lot of overlap from pharmacology, physiology, pathology. So it's not as hard as most of the people make it sound. And it is relevant. You will see a lot of questions that you are able to answer because you have sound knowledge in medicine, at least in those high yield areas. Not necessarily everything, but at least the high yield areas.
Look, for surgery, if you've done the main videos, you can just do the update videos and the MCQ discussion videos. If you haven't done the main videos, you can do the revision videos, and they are complete. Just the revision videos along with the MCQ discussion, you are sorted. And if you watch it at 1.5x also, you can finish both in a span of 12 to 14 hours, which means a day and a half to 2 days for surgery. And I think so that much you can take out for a long subject. Also, look, I mean, it is a time when you people would be anxious. Anyone would be anxious before such a big exam, right? But you need to understand that each day is crucial and critical now. And it's, trust me, what is going to define your rank is not the good days, because everyone is going to study on a good day. It is what you can salvage out of a mediocre day or a bad day, when you have a long duty, if you're an intern, or if you're not feeling well, if you don't feel like studying, what can you salvage out of that day, which would truly determine what your rank is. So even on those days, try to do image only custom modules, just revise images, or just try to, go through pearls. So don't don't miss out on the entire day, is what I'm trying to tell you. Each day from now onwards is crucial. And trust the one source which you've been following now. If you run out of after multiple sources at this stage, you would only end up being confused. So that would be my two key points which I would like you to remember at this juncture.
Right. So I think we have pretty much covered everything, sir. We have answered almost every question or every form of question students have asked that are relevant. Any closing remarks that you would like to close it with?
Sagar, mini tests and subject wise tests both are important, and they become more important if you've not done the Q bank, right? If you've done the Q bank, at this stage, you might s- choose to skip some of them. But if you've not done the Q bank, then they are extremely, extremely important. INI-CET PYQ should also be done, because same topics we've seen being asked in INI-CET and in NEET PG. Examiners also sometimes can be similar. So at least last 3 to 4 years of INI-CET questions also need to be done by everyone. Okay. Right. Abbas, sir, any other point which you want to?
I think we have pretty much covered everything, sir. We have discussed the whole strategy. We have talked about the specific scenarios of students' preparation. We have answered all the random questions that they have. I don't think we have left with anything. Would you want to close this with a few closing remarks?
So, look, I would just like to tell all of you that you have 2 months, all of you have been studying, but these 2 months are crucial. And you need to be really disciplined, make full utilization of the entire day, only watch relevant things from outside. Otherwise, limit yourself to what you've been studying, what you've been revising. And this is a crucial juncture, because this is the time when you should just put two small screens in front of your eyes, so that you kind of have a tunnel vision and you just look straight, and you don't get wavered, and you don't look here and there regarding what other people are doing. Just focus on your preparation strategy, because trust me, there are thousand ways to get a good rank. Everyone has a different method. So you need to trust your method by now, and walk on that path for the last 2 months. So don't waver off from your path. Keep on studying every day, make full utilization of the day. Sleep properly as well, because whatever you're revising, you need a good night's sleep to assimilate everything. So at least get 5 to 6 hours of sleep every day, and try to regularize your sleep pattern from now. If you're taking medications, please try to wean yourself out of them, because you're not going to get caffeine, you're not going to get medicines on the day of the exam.
Right. Just adding to what Dr. Rohan has so nicely said, ki, everyone right now is the time they get up from their slumber. They must have wasted a lot of time, and they start to actually gain momentum in these last few weeks of the exam. So if you have been someone who has been studying all this while, this is an absolute important moment for you. You cannot back out now. You have put in so much effort already. This is the time to actually reap its rewards. Your revisions will be faster. You will do things faster. Don't worry about it. Do not give up right now. Do not think of the next year. Do not think that you will attempt better next time around. This is it. This is your last shot. This is your best shot. You have to give everything you have got now. And trust me, if you put in the effort now, by the last few weeks you will actually become faster, and you will pray there ki, yaar sir, I should have started then. I wish I had started, being more aggressive. Grasp each and every moment throughout the day. Do not waste even one single minute. If you're just waiting for your plate to be heated up in the microwave, try to look at something, important image based question or a previous question. Kuch na kuch karke utilize that time. And more important than that, I mean, most of you who have watched this, who have attended this live session, must have known everything that we have discussed. None of the things that we have discussed are revolutionary, groundbreaking, rocket science. Everybody knows ki padna hai, revise karna hai, previous year questions karna hai, previous year topics karna hai. Everybody knows these things. It's just that only few of them actually sit down and start doing these things, and these are the ones who will actually crack this exam. So stop being the passive observer. Take initiative, sit down, close everything else. No more strategies, no more fundas. You have what you need. You just sit down and start doing it. Meet us after 2 months, and I'm sure you will be in a much, much better position than where you are today, if you sit down and start implementing the things that you have heard, rather than moving on to the next video and learning what to do.
Correct. So I guess implementation is the key now. Enough of thinking and planning. That's done. Now it's time to implement and revise. And the one who does that better is the one who is going to score a better rank. I think so. There's enough time available to answer the questions. But one thing which I want to highlight, sometimes when you have less questions, more time, you start out very slowly, and then you suddenly in the middle of it you realize, oh, I'm running out of time. So my advice to all of you would be to practice the same time management strategy as you're doing in GTs, to implement it in the final exam as well, which is why GTs are important, to fine tune these strategies of yours, of how am I going to approach the question, how aggressive am I going to go, how soon do I need to move on to the next question if I don't understand anything. So these are things which need to be fine tuned while giving GTs. That's the whole purpose of grand tests.
Right. So I think we have answered everything. I wish you all the best from my side. And just like sir said, start implementing. Stop thinking and stop worrying. Just implement. And if you start implementing, automatically, whether you like it or not, you will eventually reach there and you will succeed.
Yeah, I mean, it's very simple for me at this stage. I always say that this is the time for the sprint. And if you're an athlete, you know that the sprint is when you have this final burst of energy and you just look straight and you run. You don't look on the side. So that's what you need to do. Get up every day and thrash out that day's tasks, and give your body rest, and again get up the next day, do the same mundane thing again. If you think that cracking an exam is exciting, well, no, it's the most boring thing to do. And these 2 months are going to be the most boring months, because you've already read these things and you have to revise them, and that can sometimes be boring. So, but you just need to do it, and if you do it properly, you will definitely get a good rank. All the best, and thank you very much for attending the session.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
If you have any further questions, you can just put them down in the comment section, and me and Dr. Abbas would be happy to answer them for you. Thank you.